Hello, and welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuff, and occasionally even things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today I have a review for you, and the product which I will be reviewing is this. It is the Midori Traveler's Notebook, or Midori Traveler's Notebook if you want to be American about it. This is a notebook system, or a journal system, which basically consists of this leather cover and then an elastic band into which you can place various refills, as they call them, different kinds of notebooks. It's a very interesting notebook system, and it's something that has gained quite a bit of popularity in recent years. Now, before I really get into this review, I just want to preface it by saying, when I purchased this notebook, I'm the kind of person who enjoys journals, notebooks. I like leather-bound things. I had a lot of Moleskine or Moleskin. I had Leuchtturm notebooks. I had different sketchbooks, all these different things that I was carrying around in my bag with me. And recently I've been thinking, I just wanted something in which I could consolidate everything together and not have to carry 1,000 different books. And so I went on Amazon and I was just kind of browsing around, and this came up, the Midori Traveler's Notebook. And now when I found it, I didn't realize that it had a very devoted following online. And I just thought, that looks pretty cool. And I also, when I ordered it on Amazon, it was only about $40. And you will find now with most online retailers, it's around $57, $58 for this full-size version of the notebook, and I didn't realize that the $40 price on Amazon was very cheap. Anyway, I thought 40 bucks, looks like a cool system, there's different inserts you can put in there, I'll order it. Upon ordering it, before I'd actually received it, I started looking up on YouTube and other forums online, because I'm someone who likes to research things that I buy. I started looking up the Midori Traveler's Notebook and discovered an entire world of very, very, very serious Midori Traveler's Notebook users. Lots of YouTube videos in which, let's say, crafty, artsy, crafty women with long painted fingernails and lots of dangly jewelry would talk about their Midori Traveler's Notebook, and they would go into great detail about how they had set it up. And there's a lot of kind of scrapbooky things going on, lots of things being cut out and pasted in and bedazzled and spangled and stamped and all sorts of strange things. And I was kind of thinking, what have I gotten myself into? I just smacked my microphone. Have I joined some weird Midori Traveler's Notebook cult? So I want to couch this review in terms that perhaps a man, or perhaps someone who is just not really interested in using this notebook as a scrapbooky thing. I didn't really even know that was a thing until I started watching these videos and like bullet journaling and crazy planning thing. I don't know, it's insane. It's cool, you can be totally into that, that's totally fine, but this review is for people who just want to use this Midori Traveler's Notebook as a notebook. And even though it is customizable, maybe not going to quite the extreme of customization that some of the other users I've seen have done. So, I think what we're going to do, we're going to go back in time to when I first received the notebook. I'm going to show you how it comes, how it's packaged, what you get when you get it from the factory. Then we're going to skip ahead a little bit. I'm going to show you some of the inserts I've gotten, how I've decided to set the notebook up, how I've been using it, and then we'll finally wrap it all up with my final thoughts on its utility and what I think of the notebook as a notebook. So, let's go back in time. We'll visit with the ghost of Bradley past and see how this notebook looked when I first received it. So here we are. Through the magic of editing, we have gone back in time to the day when I first received my Midori Traveler's Notebook and had yet to open it. This is the packaging it comes in. You can see it's got this plastic sleeve first. We shall open that. Slip this out where we have yet another plastic covering. Let's open this. And now we have this sort of cardstock cardboard sleeve and a little bit of information here. Stuff in Japanese. Let's see. I can read a little bit of the hiragana, but the kanji kind of defeats me. Takunaru sonna ni. And then as soon as we get to a kanji, it freaks me out. But let's see here. Hopefully the translation to English isn't too crazy like it often is in Japanese products, but we'll try it. Traveler's Notebook has a leather cover, wait a minute, let me try that again. Traveler's Notebook has a leather cover, which the more you use, the better quality it becomes, and the simple notebook is easy to use. We hope it tempts you to go traveling, having this notebook in your hand. Please write down at random what you feel or what you think in the cafe you dropped into during your travel, which will surely be your precious treasure. All right. Besides, you may find a new feature every day. Going to work, having this notebook in your hand, it may change your life. Each leather cover is made by hand in Chiang Mai, northern city of Thailand. It appeals its own raison d'etre by the simplicity, roughly cut leather and a rubber band with the clasp made of tin. The inside notebook is made in Japan carefully and has Midori's original paper made to pursue the highest comfortability in writing. The inside could be changed with the refills for this notebook. After using for a long time, when the leather quality changes and scratches remain as your memories, this notebook will be more precious than ever to you. www.midori/japan.blah. Not horrible. I've seen much worse translations from the Japanese before. So we have here this elastic band, and I guess from other YouTube videos I've seen, this can be used on the book itself. You can take this out and actually use it. But we open up this cardboard sleeve. We have this, we have some more information here. I guess this is an extra elastic band for the cover in orange, or orange as it would be called in Japanese. We've got some more Japanese. Let's see. Kono something wa torabura notebook o kanji something kimashita. Arigatou gozaimashita. Okay, they're thanking me very much for buying the Midori Traveler's Notebook. We now have this nice little, feels like cotton cloth. It's very Japanese packaging. And as we pull that out, blah, blah, here's the actual Midori Traveler's Notebook. If you can get that completely in frame. It is actually a bit smaller than I thought it would be. I actually have giant monster free cans, so you can see that my hand basically entirely covers this book, and when I'm watching other videos, other reviews of this, I guess people had more normal human-sized hands, and so the book looked quite a bit bigger. So here, from here to here is pretty much exactly 8 inches on me, so you can see the size of this, so giant monster hands. But it's still a fairly good size. It's kind of reminds me of sort of the medium moleskin, maybe not quite as wide. The leather seems very nice. Supposedly vegetable tan leather, very thick. It's going to take on a lot of scarring and scuffing, and I'm sure it'll shine up a little bit with use, the oils from my hand and things like that. So all it comes with is the leather. Basically, it's just like a strip of leather, a piece of leather, a flap of leather, some leather. And in that, or through that, is strung this elastic, which is held in place by this little tin, I don't know what you would call that, a button that is hammered together. And so the elastic is strung through the rear or the spine of this flap of leather. And from that, you have this piece of elastic here. This is the bookmark, and that's where you slide your inserts. And then when you want to add more inserts, there are ways to do that, and I will show you that eventually. But for now, this is basically the notebook. I wonder if you could use these to put more inserts into. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty pleased with how this looks, and I'm excited to get this all set up. So we will probably skip ahead in time once again to where I get to the point where I've actually got my other inserts and some of my accessories and things, and I start slapping this baby together. But for now, that was the unboxing. This is the notebook. These are Monster Free cans. We'll be right back. All right, thank you, Ghost of Bradley Pass. We skipped ahead in time a little bit. I've had some time to play with this notebook, to fool around with ways of setting it up. I've also gotten a lot of different inserts. Some Midori inserts, some are an off-brand Banded Apple Carnet. And I've kind of been fooling around, experimenting with things. I'm going to show you how Midori wants you to set things up, and then I'm going to show you the way that I decided to do it. And as I mentioned, the whole point of this journal is to be able to use it as kind of it's a cover for different inserts. So it comes with this one elastic band here. So ignore these black ones. Pretend these don't exist. I added these. This is the one that it comes with, and this is the one you're supposed to use. So let's say you have, this is a banded apple carnet insert actually. It's a blank paper insert. We got one of these. Let's say we're going to use, let's see here. This is a sketch pad insert by Midori. And we'll throw a lined insert in by Banded Apple as well. I've got one of these craft folders. That's a Midori made. And then, I think we'll leave this out for now, but this is the light paper Midori. It's very thin, extra light paper, but it has twice as many pages as the normal Midori blank insert. So Midori wants you to pick a book. We'll use this as our center book. Find the middle of the book here. You can see where the stitching is. The Banded Apple Carnet inserts, which you can get at gouletpens.com, are stitched as opposed to stapled like the Midori ones. You get the center band here, and you place your notebook like so. So remember, it only comes with this one elastic band, and this is the one that goes around and is inserted into this with this little tin clasp here. So we're using this one insert. Then what Midori wants you to do is purchase this, which is their Traveler's Notebook rubber band set, I guess you would call it. And basically that's all it is. It's just rubber bands in brown and black. And you're supposed to use these to attach other journals or other inserts into your notebook. So let's take out 2 rubber bands. We'll just use black for the hell of it. There we go. Now let's say we are going to put our sketchbook in the back here. So this is our sketch paper. It's a thicker paper that you can use watercolors or different inks on. So again, we find the middle, like so. We find the middle of this one. You can see where the staples are. We put them together like this, and we take one of the rubber bands, just knocked the tripod, sorry about that, and we insert it like this. So you've got these 2 notebooks together. Then what you're supposed to do, okay, so that's if you wanted to do 2 notebooks. So now you have your journal cover, your notebook cover, 2 notebooks inside, put together like this. Works okay. They don't seem to want to fall out or anything. But let's say you wanted to do 3 notebooks. Well, with that, you would remove this again. Let's say we've got these 2. We find the middle again. We still have our rubber band on here. We connect these 2 together like this. Then we put these under this middle elastic band. And again, remember, this is the only one the book actually comes with. You can put them through like that. Then if we grab another book, and then we take our elastic band, which is holding in the rubber band that these 2 are connected with, and we shove this middle one in like that. So then, if we take a look at it this way, you can see how this acts. Now wait a minute, this is falling to pieces. There's actually a little slit here. All right, so there you go. That's 3 books, and you can kind of see how that's held together. So the middle elastic band, this little bit of brown there, is holding against that rubber band, which is in turn holding these 2 books together, and the middle elastic band is holding this center book. It stays in fine. It's not an issue. I just didn't really like the way it closed that way, and the fact that you've got these books, or the book in the middle kind of tends to want to push out a little bit, and like you can get this going a little bit, especially there. It can start pulling out. So that's the Midori way. I decided to do it a different way, so I'm going to show you that now. So I actually installed 2 extra pieces of elastic, and I installed them in the exact same way that this original piece of elastic was installed, and I just gave a little bit of space on either edge of this elastic. I poked holes, so basically 8 holes in total. One there, 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 one there. I strung the elastic through in the exact same way that this middle brown Midori elastic was strung, and just secured it. Here it just circles around like this one, and then up here I just kind of tied it off at the end. And what that allows me to do is place 3 different notebooks in on their own elastics. Reasons for that is, number one, I like the idea of them being bound evenly in the back and not having one notebook push out. And the other thing I like is the fact that I can easily remove one notebook if I want to and just take it out, and then place another one, or place it, basically I can take one in, take one out, put one in very easily without having to take the entire notebook apart. So there's that, and then I have this one in the center. So each one has their own band fitting in like that, and you can see now that they all stay kind of as though they're one bound book instead of having this middle one shove out a little bit. We've got our little book marker that it comes with we can throw through there. And then I also had a couple other inserts in here, so I'm going to put these in, and then we're going to come back and I'll show you exactly how I have this set up. All right, so this is my traveler's notebook, the way I have it set up currently. I might fiddle with it a little bit more, and I didn't get too crazy with it, as you'll see, but one thing I did do, I had tuppence, 2p, a 2 pence piece for some reason laying around, so I drilled some holes in it and I strung it through this elastic, the elastic closure, which I showed you comes through the back here and keeps the book closed. So I did that, just makes it easier to grab and take this elastic off. I did put these stupid little brass beads on the bottom of this bookmark because I thought it would make it easier to keep track of it. I didn't want, a lot of people put these giant charms on the bookmark, and I didn't want something jangling around everywhere. The problem is I then cut it too short, so it can't actually come out properly. Ugh, I should have kept it longer, but whatever. I'm not going to use it that much. If we open the book, you'll see that the very first thing I have is this clear pocket. Now this is available, this is made by Midori, and I believe it is $9 for the zippered pocket. So it has a little zipper here. You can put things in. I've got some stamps, I've got a little mini ruler, and just some paper clips and other little doodads and things like that. You don't want to put too much in here because obviously you're going to be writing on this. So that's just what I've got there. Then I've got this light paper notebook. This is 64 sheets, 128 pages, but it's this very cool thin paper that's actually very similar to Tomoe river paper, if you know what that is. Very thin paper, but it's actually very good for fountain pens. You can see, I don't know if you guys should see all this here. You can write on both sides. This is with a medium nib fountain pen using Mont Blanc Toffee Brown, and it works really well. You can write on this either side. There's a little bit of show through, but definitely both sides of the page are able to be used. So if you're a fountain pen person and you're wondering if this paper holds up, not only does the normal Midori paper hold up, but the extra thin light paper holds up really well too. So that's quite nice. And then I cut out a little piece of blotter paper and I put one of these index tabs on there, and I keep this in so when I'm writing I can just shut the book on that blotter paper and I don't get ink all over the place. So that's the one insert I have, and this is the other side of the zippered pocket, the clear zippered pocket. So you could put cards or, I don't know, photographs, whatever you want in there. I haven't decorated all my inserts. Some of these women, my God, the things they do. But now I've got one half of the craft folder, and the craft folder is $7.20 at Goulet. Most of these prices I'm going to be quoting for you are at Goulet pens because they seem to be one of the more reasonably priced retailers for Midori inserts and things like that. So I have this craft folder which is behind this middle elastic. So I've got this middle book and then the craft folder rests there. And in one side I've got a line guide for my blank notebook, so I put this under the page and I can see the lines through the page right evenly. And then this is a basically writing mat that I cut down. And this has 5mm grid on there, which is a little narrow, or you could do 10mm, I guess, if you use the bigger blue lines, which is a little wide, but I use this if I just need a better surface to write on. Then we've got the middle book. I'm using this as sort of, this is one that I think will stay in here pretty much all the time. This first book, I've already actually filled the original Midori blank insert that came with this, and then I got the light paper insert to replace it because I filled the first one so quickly. So this is one that I'm going to be taking in and out all the time. I'll be putting new books in quite a bit because this is my main journal, which I'll be filling, which is again why I wanted to have those different elastics so I can just yank this out without disturbing anything else in the book. This middle one is something that's going to stay in longer, and I haven't done much with it yet, but it's basically just words that I find if I'm reading that I enjoy and want to remember. So let's see, we've got superfetation, simultaneous occurrence of more than one stage of developing offspring in the same animal. Excellent. What else have we got? Perspicacious, that's a good word. Having a ready insight into and understanding of things. Just good words. So I like writing those down in here. That's my words. And then I'm going to start kind of an ink journal in this side. I haven't done anything with it yet, but inevitably, can't speak. Eventually, I'm going to have a bunch of different inks with swabs and writing samples and stuff, so I'll probably fill up half of that journal with that. The other side, we have the other side of the craft folder. Here, that's a Goulet pens bookmark. I've got, this is my handwriting guide. It's kind of a Spencerian old style cursive. So it has the capitals and the lowercase letters there. I like to look at that occasionally for reference. And then I've got these little hiragana and katakana. Remember my Japanese syllabary. Just in there. So that's the other side of the craft folder. And then in this back part we have the sketchbook. And I haven't done anything in this yet, partially because I already have another sketchbook that I haven't filled yet. But I'm kind of wondering if I'm going to keep this in because it's quite a bit thicker. It's still 64 pages, like the normal Midori inserts. But since it's a sketch paper, which is good for watercolors, inks, whatever, it's much thicker. And so it makes the notebook quite a bit thicker. I mean, this is pretty thick. It's not anywhere near as thick as some of the women I've seen out there. But it might be a little thick for me, so I might end up taking this out and replacing it with just a normal blank book, or I mean, because I actually did a little ink drawing in this notebook, and it held up fine. So I don't know. We'll see about that. But that's all I've done so far. Subject to change. Things might shift around a little bit. We'll just see as the utility, or we'll see what the utility turns out to be, and maybe I'll want to change some things. But I like that for now. And just some of the inserts that they have. This is the Banded Apple blank insert, so it's very similar to the Midori, but it's stitched and it's a little cheaper. I think the Banded Apple Carnet, they're all about $1 cheaper than the normal Midori inserts, and you can get these at gouletpens.com as well. The normal Midori ones in full size, they're around $5.40 for like the blank and the lined, and then it can go upwards of $7 to $12 for different planners and diaries and things like that, and different kind of inserts. I think this is a spare sketch one. This is $7.20. This is the Midori brand. But the Banded Apple ones are all about $1 cheaper. They don't have quite as many different versions or different kinds of inserts as Midori, but they're a nice alternative. And the paper on these are really fountain pen friendly as well. I had this card file that I decided I didn't want to use. I may still throw it in at some point, but this is for the full size. This was, I think $7.20 as well. And then this is another Banded Apple. This is a blank one. Here's another Banded Apple. This is a lined one. So these are all, like I said, about $4.50 around there. And then, of course, I had this Midori rubber band pack, which I didn't end up using. And I think those were about $5.40 as well. And then the craft folder was $7.20. The zipper pocket was $9. So I mean, they're pretty clever. They're going to get you to buy a lot of inserts, and they're going to make you spend a lot of money. But there also is a huge thriving community online of people making their own inserts. There's people who have templates for inserts for all sorts of different things. If you want to do an ink journal, if you want to do a bullet journal, I still don't know what the heck that means. There's all these different things that you could print out and you can make your own inserts. Some people like to use Tomoe River paper and they make their own Midori inserts with that. The possibilities are endless, and that's kind of the cool thing about this journal, is that it really inspires you to be a little more creative than you might normally be. And even if you're not someone who's going to go crazy and scrapbook the heck out of this thing and get all sorts of weird little doodads and stickers and bedazzled things and charms and throw them all over the notebook, it still makes you kind of want to use it and play around with it and experiment. It's really cool. I really enjoy it. And I just wanted to take one more look at this leather here. I've been using this for a good while now, several weeks, and it's already getting some marks of use. It's not too scarred up yet, but it's getting kind of shiny from oils from your hands and just from being rubbed about. I like to just rub my fingers over it. But one thing I wanted to mention is a lot of people said in their reviews that when they first got their Midori Traveler's Notebook, it had a horrible chemical smell and some kind of white powder over the leather. Mine did not have that. It had neither the white powder nor the horrible chemical smell. It just smelled like really nice leather as soon as I got it. So I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's the black version. They are available in black or brown. So maybe it's the black one. I don't know. But mine did not have a bad smell and the leather did not have a white powder on it. So go figure. And then also, this is the regular size. It's also available in a passport size. I think I mentioned that. But the passport size is about this tall, and it's a little narrower than the regular size. So I just thought that would be a little too small for my needs. If you just imagine a cover like this in which you could fit a passport, that's about the size of the passport size. So there you go. A rather exhaustive look at the full-size or regular Midori Traveler's Notebook. It's not just a notebook, it's a system. And it's a pretty cool system at that. I've really enjoyed using it. There are just so many options, so many inserts, so many different things you can do with this notebook. You can use it pretty much in any way you could imagine. And even if you're not a very devout scrapbooker or bullet journaler, I don't even know what that means, you can still use this just as a notebook, and you can make it your notebook. It's really customizable, it's really cool, and it's just a really attractive object. This leather is really, really nice. I just enjoy holding it, looking at it, and it makes me want to use it. And that was kind of the point in getting it to begin with. I wanted something that made me want to write, and this has succeeded in doing that. So in spite of the price, it's a little spendy. I think it's worth the money. I think it's worth checking out. And like I said, if you do your research online, you could find it for around $40 as opposed to the close to $60 that you might find on most major online retailers. So I definitely recommend the Midori Traveler's Notebook in full size or passport size too. I haven't used the passport size, but the full size definitely has my recommendation. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your good friend Bradley. You have been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things reviewing the Midori Traveler's Notebook. I'll see you later.